Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory MyNBA here in NBA 2K26. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had started up the playoffs because we actually did make the first round this year, and we managed to pull off a quite substantial upset. As you can see, we beat the Timberwolves, who were the second seeded team, in 6 games, and it was a very good effort from this team, so much so that we were able to get Westbrook back in those last 2 games and take them out. So I think Westbrook being back in our lineup changes the complexion of this playoff run for us, because obviously we had a pretty good looking roster on paper still without him. However, if we go on over to our player stats for the playoffs, you can see he's made a pretty big impact in the shirt going. He's averaged 18 points per game in 2 games and 10 rebounds. So I think he's a fantastic offensive player, just to add more depth scoring, of course, to our lineup. But he also adds those rebounds that Bishop does as well. So there's not really a lot of other people that have a considerable amount of rebounds, and I think he obviously helps out a lot with that too. So I think our team's in a very good spot right now. Of course, obviously we're still technically an underdog team, but we are one of those underdog teams that could probably simulate really well. Now, we are going to be taking on the Sacramento Kings in the second round. They are obviously the 3 seed. They didn't have a crazy good season either, just like Minnesota. They were above 500, of course, but they weren't like necessarily one of these teams that won 60 plus games. So it should be maybe a little bit of an even series based on what I'm guessing, but obviously it could be completely different too, because they do have some pretty good players on their roster. If we go over to, I guess if we go just click on this for a second, no, not that, just click on this. Oh yeah, here we go. Then we can take a look at their roster officially and show you guys what it looks like again, just in case you forgot or didn't watch the last episode. But you can see that they're led by Ja Morant, who's still a 91 overall. They have Derek or Derek Whitehead. I think it might be pronounced Derek, which is kind of a weird spelling, but this guy's a real player. They also have Barney Wall, who's a guy we could have drafted. He's pretty decent. Lawrence Booth up to an 88. This guy was a pretty high up pick back in 2028, so great player there. Şengün's there as well, and same with this Neil Carnegie dude. They also do have some decent bench options like Keegan Murray, for instance, AJ Mitchell, Dino Petrovic, and then the rest of the guys are kind of mid, but they do still have a pretty damn good looking team on paper. So they did sweep the first round, I think, so I don't really know what to expect from this matchup against them, but I think we do maybe have a chance against them because, like I said, during the regular season, if we look at like the standings, for instance, you can see in the conference, they were 45-37. They won their division. Meanwhile, we were all the way down here at 42-40. So technically, we only had 3 less wins in them during the regular season. So I think this literally could be anybody's game going into this matchup. So it'll be interesting to see who is better. Technically, they were better offensively during the regular season. We were a smidge better defensively. So this could be pretty close. But maybe it won't be either. So looking forward to getting into this and seeing if we could get to the conference finals. I think regardless if we do somehow beat Sacramento, I feel like we're going to have a tough time in the conference finals if we get there, just because Dallas was the best team during the regular season. In the West, I'm pretty sure also maybe the entire league. And in San Antonio, obviously still has Wemby and all that. So regardless, it's going to be a tough task if we somehow find a way to beat the Kings. In the East, you still have Philadelphia and Atlanta, and Detroit will be taking on still the winner of Game 7 between Washington and Toronto, because that hasn't been determined at this point in time. So I'm going to assume it's going to be Washington just because they have Bernard Russell, that big guy that got drafted a couple years ago. He's like a 97 overall, I think, already at this point. So I think Washington might be one of those favorites in the Eastern Conference again. So anyways, with that said, I think we're ready to get into this matchup. I'm pretty sure our rotation is good to go. Let me just double check on that again. There was no comments in the last episode, so I think we're just going to pretty much run the same thing, which means having Rex Wright as the 6th man. Even though he was good, we could always throw him back into the lineup and move Semenko back to small forward, and Evans could be the 6th man, but I think for right now, I'll play it like this. And then Jennings is still getting a little bit of reduced minutes because he is still playing with an injury, but he should be back to full health relatively soon. Aside from that, a lot of our other bench guys aren't getting as much playing time, like Goodwin, for instance. So anyways, let's get into this and see if we can knock out the Sacramento Kings and upset them as well. I think it's definitely going to be a tough task, but I think our team is definitely up for it, considering they just knocked out a team like Minnesota that I think, how many wins did they have? I think it was not much more than us either, but they were still a really good team in last season, for instance. Like, I'm pretty sure they won a championship recently. So let's get this game 7 simulated between Washington and Toronto so we could actually get to the next round. So we'll go simulate through game. So Washington does end up winning as I was expecting in game 7. So it'll be Washington and Detroit in that other matchup. So there we go. Let's get to our matchup in this second round now, as we look to make it to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. If we end up losing this, I'm not going to be disappointed because I think this has still been a great run for this team, and I think we're only going to get better from here on out with obviously a lot of offseason growth and such. So anyways, let's see what happens here. Game number 1 is going to be obviously in Sacramento, so we got to get off to a good start on the road again if possible. So it does say that we should give more minutes still to Rex Wright and less minutes to Jerome Evans, but for the time being, since Evans has a really good upside, I've been giving him more playing time, but we could always get Rex Wright into the starting rotation again if we really want to. Now, if we head on over to rankings and stats, this is a little comparison kind of between our two teams. You can see that basically they were better than us in everything near the end of the season, I guess, technically, except for rebounds per game, which we averaged 1 more rebound per game than them. We had pretty similar field goal percentages, though, which is interesting. Aside from that, though, pretty much everything leans towards the Kings' way, but I still think we're pretty good of a team, and we could still upset them. So anyways, let's see what happens here. We're going to do, obviously, the slow sim approach as we were doing in last episode. So let's see what ends up happening. Let's go to normal sim speed, and let's see how this first quarter goes of game 1. Let's see if we could get off to a good start again. Build off some momentum after knocking out Anthony Edwards, because, like I said, I was not really expecting us to beat them, but I did expect it to be a bit closer of a matchup, and that's exactly what it was. So far, it seems like this round is going to start off like pretty similar to last round, where it's going to be pretty even, at least early on. They're on a little bit of a run, which is not great here near the end of the first quarter. Can we get back into it before the first ends, potentially? Not really. That's kind of a bad end to the first quarter for this team. Yeah, very bad end to the first quarter now, as we're going to be down 33-17 after the first. So definitely was close, and then they went on like a 10+0 run or something like that. So we definitely got to clean that up a little bit. But let's take a look at some stats after that first quarter. Semenko leading away with 6 points so far. Evans has 3. Everybody else is 2 and below. So we need guys like that to be better. Westbrook didn't have a single point in that first quarter. Jennings apparently is fully healthy now, it looks like, which is good to see. He actually played more minutes than Westbrook, so I hope that Westbrook didn't get injured again, because that would be definitely substantial. So anyways, there's that. Early on, our field goal percentage is pretty trash at 29%, so we got to definitely improve there. Aside from that, looks like we're doing pretty good on three-pointers and also on our free throws that we've had. They've had 18 free throws already at this point. How much fouls have we had? 12 fouls in the first quarter. Holy crap, okay. So our team is maybe a bit too aggressive right now against them. So that's probably a big reason why they're winning, is they're getting a lot more trips to the free throw line. So maybe that's the reffing on its own right. I'm not too sure, but I hope that we start to get more free throws as this game goes on, because them having that much more than us seems a little bit rigged in my opinion. But let's see how the second quarter goes and see if we can make this a closer game at least after the first half. Second quarter underway. Come on, boys. We don't want them to keep on going to the free throw line, or else that's going to be a problem, because they are, I think, a good free throw shooting team, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, we're still down by a lot, but we have came back from some big deficits before in this playoff run, but this one is not looking likely to me, at least not right now, unless this team goes on a good torrential pace. But it looks like every single second the Kings are picking up more and more points, and we're absolutely getting curb stomped in this first game here. As at halftime, we're going to be down 74-40. We got outscored 40-23 in that second quarter. Yeah, that's a really rough start for this team. We're only on pace for around 80 points, so they're kind of suffocating our offense, and they're on pace for over 140 points. So they're scoring a lot, and they're suffocating our offensive game, which was a success against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So not off to the best of starts, but there's a lot of series left to go, so we can't really say, hey, this is not going to be good. Like I said, if we somehow find a way to win this, it would be kind of surprising in a sense as well. But anyway, Semenko and Westbrook both on 9 points. So it looks like Westbrook's starting to pick up his pace a bit. Jennings on 7 points. We have Wright on 4. Evans on 3. Carroll's only still on 2 points. So yeah, a couple of the starters are not doing as much as they should. Like guys like Evans, Carroll, Bishop, and Wright should be hopefully picking up more points, but they really aren't. So right now, the only guys we're kind of relying on are these three, and Jennings literally comes off the bench. So I really hope for a better second half. If we look at the comparison again here, we're shooting 33% from field goal percentage, which is not good. Our three-pointers is 36%, so yeah, we're now falling off in a lot of things, even free throws, for instance. But they've also had a total of 16 more free throws than us in this entire game. So we've definitely been fouling a lot, or the refs have just been absolutely atrocious, one of the two. But yeah, this is definitely not a good start to the second round. But like I said, it's a long series. It's a best of 7. We got to find a way to obviously respond next game if we aren't going to win this one. But who knows? Maybe we could have a really good second half here and get this game a little bit closer with a good third. So let's see what happens. Third quarter underway. Can we start to claw back into this at all? Or is this game already lost? I feel like it's already lost at this point. Yeah, they're still picking up a lot of points against us, which is not ideal. This is definitely one of the worst showings we've had this entire postseason, I would say, because we're down by literally like a ton of points at this point in time. And there's like no way slowing them down. Like, I don't know who's got all their points for them. We'll definitely take a look, but somebody's definitely going off on us right now. They're already over 100 points going into the fourth quarter. They're already up 105 to 77. We actually outscored them in that third, though, 37-31. So it is a positive that third quarter, but we're still in such a hole because of that first half that it's almost unsurmountable, because technically we're almost down by 30 points. Like, we'd have to basically play some stellar defense in the fourth in order to win this one. But let's take a look at some leaders right now. Again, Jennings is leading away with 17 points off the bench. So yeah, Jennings has been fantastic. Westbrook's been good too. And then Semenko and Carroll have been okay. I mean, Carroll's kind of on almost a double-double. But yeah, there's definitely some guys I would like to see score more, like Bishop, for instance, and Rex Wright. But it is what it is. So definitely a tough first game here, but we dug ourselves into this hole early on. Just got to find a way to tie the series up in next game, because at this point I don't think we're going to come back and win this one. But let's just continue simulating, see how this fourth quarter goes. But oh yeah, they're scoring already a lot to start again. Well, let's just at least make this game not look like it was as bad as it was in the first half, basically. Because, yeah, the first half has lost us this game, and this fourth quarter so far has been a little bit more even, but definitely that second quarter allowing 40 points is not what you want to see, especially in a playoff matchup. And yeah, we're going to get absolutely stomped on in this first game. But like I said, long series potentially ahead as we lose 131 to 93. And apparently Şengün started in that game, which means he probably had a lot of points for them, I would assume. But yeah, that's a tough first showing in the second round. Westbrook dropped the most points on the team with 21. So yeah, Westbrook was good again. Good to have him back from injury. He also had 8 rebounds. We had Jennings on the 17 points. I think Jennings was fantastic, especially coming back from his injury. He was playing last round still injured, but now that he's fully healthy, he looks really good. Semenko is okay, 15 points. Carroll might have needed more points. Usually he averages more than 12. Evans on 8, Wright on 7, Lloyd on 6. Bishop only on 4 and only 6 rebounds. Definitely looks like it was a tough time for Bishop. Race on 2 points. Wennington had 1. Yeah, not the best results. Looks like Carroll was the only plus player on the team in plus minus. Not that it really matters too much, but team comparison from that first game, we shot 40%, they shot 54. Our three-pointers were also 40%, they shot 59. And in free throws, they shot a total of 26 more free throws than us that entire game, and they shot 83%, we shot 75%. So the fact that they had that many more free throws than us is kind of iffy. Means we might be a bit aggressive. Like, if we go to the fouls again, yeah, we had 32 fouls. They had 17. And we had possession for 5 less minutes, apparently, in that game. So, definitely a tough first showing, but like I said, it is what it is. Also, I actually did want to take a look at their leaders, so let's briefly skim over it here. Şengün had 33 points and 16 rebounds, almost a triple-double for him. So, it is going to be tough to contain Şengün. Booth dropped 20. And yeah, guys like Ja and Wall on 16. AJ Mitchell had 15. They had some pretty good depth scoring, it looks like, in their lineup. So, looks like Whitehead was their worst player, which is kind of surprising being an 84. dropping 3 points in 28 minutes. So, interesting. Okay, so that's a bad first game, but there's a lot of series left to go, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not worry. Let's get to the next game and see if we could respond in that. Should I adjust the rotation to what I was thinking of and getting Rex Wright in as a starter, or should I just keep it the same for the time being? I'm almost debating about going to that, like going like this basically, and then going like that. And then obviously we would knock down these minutes to 28 on Evans, and we put the rest of the minutes into Rex Wright, I think, pretty much. And Semenko, or who else needs more minutes? We have 2 extra minutes. Let's just put them back on Jennings since he's fully healthy. We're just going to do a little bit of an adjustment because I think that first showing wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe a bit of a closer first game, but let's not worry too much about it. Like I said, let's get to game number 2 already and see if we could tie the series up at 1. If we don't win this game, it's not the end of the world, though, because we still have to head to home court after this. So let's see if we could at least steal 1 game in Sacramento before we get there. So we'll go always simulate on these AI games. And they don't mind when I was going to say ice time, but the court time that we gave to everybody. So I think our new rotation is pretty much set. We're going to go with that and see if it helps us out a bit. Rex Wright being in that starting rotation, Evans being the 6th man instead. Let's see if we could get off to a better start in this one, and hopefully we're not trailing by a lot at halftime like we were last game. So first quarter underway of game 2. Let's get off to a good start here. Looks like we're getting off to a little bit of a better start offensively, but obviously we need to make sure that we don't give up a ton of points either, as they're up now 17-14, so it is a close start again. But we know that last time it was close early on, and in the last few minutes was a little bit disastrous, and that's what lost us that first quarter. Still pretty close right now, but they almost have a 10-point lead again, which is not ideal. Let me stop the sim again. 30-19 after the first quarter. Not the best results. Carroll is already on 8 points, which is good to see. Westbrook's on 6. Jennings is on 5. Nobody else has a point at this early start of the game. So, yeah, that's not ideal that it's only 3 guys picking up the points at the moment. Also, at the moment, we have no free throws. They have 3s, so I guess the refs are not calling as much to start this game. They're shooting 45%. We're shooting 1 for 4. They've shot up a lot more 3-pointers than us early on. And then we've shot both the same amount of field goals, but they're 50% and we're 41. All right. Still a lot of time left to go, so let's not worry too much on that. Let's get to the second quarter and see if we can get back into this game. Come on, boys. Let's get this game closer again, because once they start running away, and it is a little bit nerve-wracking when that happens. Okay, we're down by 9, down by 7. Now it's back to like a 9-point lead again. Yeah, it's definitely tough to come back on them. They definitely have some really good tall players. Like I said, Şengün's a really tough player to play against. Good rebounder, good scorer. And he's probably doing a lot of their work again, I would assume. But we got to find a way to contain him if possible. Oh, man, they're already up by 20 points again at halftime. Holy crap. Yeah, this is maybe not going to be as close of a series as I thought it was going to be. We had scored 31-24, so it was a better second quarter than first quarter. But we're almost down by 20 points at halftime, which is not ideal. Right now, Carroll's dropped 12 points already. Westbrook's on 9. We have a couple guys on 5, but Rex Wright being a starter has only got 2 points. Evans now only has 2 points as well. And then we have like Bishop only on 4. Like, I just don't feel like our bench scoring is doing as much as it was last round. And then like team comparison wise, we're shooting 35%. They're shooting 51%. 3-point percentage. We're 1 for 11 from 3-point range. We're not hitting enough 3-pointers in this game, so our scoring is definitely a problem right now. Meanwhile, they're 7 for 20. We're at least 80% on the free throw line, and the free throws are a little bit more even than they were last game. But the fact that we only have 1 free 3-point shot made in the first half is definitely not a great way to start off. So I really hope we do a lot better once we actually get back to our home court, but this is definitely a tough series, and Sacramento definitely could be one of the better teams in the West, better than we anticipated when we looked at them on paper. So anyways, let's see if we could have a good second half to maybe get back into this game, but it could be potentially a 2-0 series lead for Sacramento before we head home. So let's see what we can do here. Third quarter underway. Come on, boys. Let's get back into this game by any means possible. Just don't be too aggressive that you start taking a bunch of fouls. Oh man, they're still picking up a ton of points all of a sudden. Yeah, I do not feel like we're coming back in this one either, unless there's some crazy voodoo for them. But this is just a very tough team, and we definitely need to give them more of a run for their money. Like, we can't be just not putting up that much three-pointers against them. Like, they're literally up by over 20 points going into the fourth. Yep, they're literally up by 24 points. Ugh. Yeah, this is a tough time. At least it was a closer third quarter again than it was in the first quarter, but we need to string together good quarter after good quarter, and so far we have not done that. Carroll's dropped 18 points, Westbrook's on 13, so our best players are doing our best work pretty much. But like when Jennings is outscoring like a lot of the starters, like Semenko has only got 5 points right now. That's a bit problematic. So maybe we'll readjust our rotation again for next game. But yeah, the field goal percentages are relatively close, I would say, but we've put up more shots, but we've missed more. Or hit less, I should say. We are still only 2 for 15 from 3-point range in this game, which is absolutely atrocious. We didn't have any free throws in that third quarter. Wow. And now they've had 13 more free throws than us. I feel like the refs are definitely giving us more fouls, unless our team's just that type of team because of the fact we're perimeter centric. But yeah, that's interesting. Our biggest lead was by 3 points only, and it was probably early into the game too. So not a great start to the series, but like I said, we got a lot of series left to go. If we lose 2 in a row to start, we could still win 4 in a row afterwards. So let's not worry too much, but we might need to make some adjustments going back home. But let's see what happens in this fourth quarter, see if we could at least get some points to make this closer. But right now, it's not looking like it. His team starts off the fourth quarter not picking up any points hardly, and gives up a bunch of points. So we're down by over 30 points in this game. Well, this is definitely a tougher opponent than we anticipated. I thought they would be similar to Minnesota, but right now they're definitely showing me that they're still the better team by far, Sacramento. So it is definitely a learning process still for the team, but I think with some growth next offseason, or this coming offseason, I think it'll help us out a lot going forward as we end up losing 122-78. Another pretty bad effort from this team. The leader in points at the end of the game for us was Carroll with those 18 points. We had Westbrook and Semenko both next, 16, 11, and Jennings on 11. At least looks like we got some more rebounds from guys like Semenko. Bishop had 9 points and 9 rebounds, but Rex Wright as a starter is not really cutting it, so I probably should put him back to the bench pretty much as that sixth man. Team comparison-wise, yeah, they were over 50% from field goal percentage. We are 37%. We only hit 3 3-pointers all game as a perimeter-centric team. So they hit only 9, which is not really that great either, but we definitely need to hit more than 3 shots like that. Free throws, we are 75%. They are 83%. They had a total of 23 more free throws than us in that game. So I feel like the refs are also a little bit biased, but maybe not. Our team just could be terrible in terms of that. Like 10 more fouls, literally, than the Kings. That's outrageous. Unless the Kings just play a really clean game, which I don't know if they do or not, but that's a tough way to start off, losing both games in Sacramento. So let's go back to our game plan again here, and we're going to readjust this back to the way it was before, because Rex Wright, to me, did not show that he is a starter right now. He's had some really good playoff games before, but he's also been pretty mid at times too. So we'll go to, it recommends 26 minutes for him. Let's go 32, and let's swap him and Semenko again. Semenko can play at shooting guard. Aside from that, we still have 3 more minutes that we could put. So let's put a couple more to Bishop, and I guess we'll do 1 more to Wright as well. Yeah, a couple of bench options really aren't doing much either, like Reese and Lloyd. Like, I hope we could get some better bench options for next season in the draft or something like that. But yeah, looking like a tough start for this team. All right, currently San Antonio. God damn, I can barely talk. San Antonio's already up 1-0 on Dallas, so that's a pretty big surprise. Philadelphia's up on Atlanta, and Detroit's up on Washington, which is kind of surprising too. So We're down in a 2-0 hole. Let's simulate up to our next game, which is back on home court, which is exciting. But obviously, we need to find a way to win these 2 home games, or else we'll end up getting swept instead here in this round. In terms of those AI games, yeah, San Antonio's taken a 2-0 series lead on Dallas, so they took both the road games. Philly's taken a 2-0 series lead, and now Washington is tied with Detroit. So we're one of 3 teams to be in a 2-0 hole right now. All right, well, let's see if our team can get better. Let's see if our team can get better. We've been good in front of our fans for the most part, so maybe we could find a way to at least win 1 game of the series, but we need to make sure we get off to better starts because these first 2 games have shown me that our team is a little bit slow when the game starts against a good team like this. So if we at least keep it close through the first half, maybe we can find a way to win. So let's see what ends up happening here in Game 3, see if we could get back into the series by any means, or are we going to be in a huge deficit? Let's see what happens. First quarter underway. Come on, guys, let's get off to a better start here as we have not scored a point in the first 3 minutes, which is not ideal, but now we're kind of trading the lead back and forth, it looks like, with Sacramento. So this game at least off to a little bit of a closer start again, but some of the other games have been close, and then these last few minutes, it seems like, is when Sacramento runs away, and that's exactly the case here as well, as they're all of a sudden picking up a lot of points. So it looks like we definitely take our foot off the gas a little bit too early at the end of the first quarter. We're down only by 8. That's not terrible. That's probably our best first quarter of this series at this point. Probably. But let's take a look at some stats after that first quarter. Jennings already has 9 points in 6 minutes. Jennings is actually a really good bowler. He was a second-round pick, but he's probably one of the best second-rounders we have. He's 4 for 4 from field goal range, 1 for 1 from three-point range, so we already have a three-pointer hit. That's good to see. Looks like the depth scoring is okay, but Semenko does not have any points. He only played 1 minute in that first half. Rex Wright has no points either, so we need some of those guys to start stepping up a bit more. And then field goal percentage right now, both of us are pretty close. 3-point percentage, both of us are pretty close. And then also free throws, we're 2 for 2. They're 8 for 11. Why are they having so much more free throws than us? Is it just my team is more aggressive and also like not disciplined? Or are they just really disciplined and we're not? I honestly don't even know, man. But it seems like every single game they're getting a lot more trips to the free throw line, which is not ideal. So anyways, it's an 8-point game. We're still in this. Let's see if we could get even closer within the second half. Second half underway. Or not second half, second quarter underway. I mean, geez. Still trying to learn this terminology when recording stuff like this. Okay, we're starting to come back into this lead a little bit, which is good to see. Can we pull even again? Yes, we can. Okay. We're starting to play a lot better here, as now we're actually at least taking that lead. But obviously there's still a lot of game left to go, so we got to be careful, especially against a good offensive team like the Kings. And at halftime, we are going to be actually having a lead for the first time in the series, 53-51, so it's only a 1-possession game, but we outscored them 33-22 in that second quarter, so that is a pretty nice quarter. That's probably our best quarter of this entire round. Right now, Jennings is leading away with 11 points in 11 minutes. You have Carroll on 9. Same with Westbrook. And Bishop already has 9 points too. So a couple of starters are coming alive a bit. Wright's on 5 points. Evans on 4. Semenko still only has 3 points, and he's only played 8 minutes. So I'd like to see a little bit more out of Semenko if possible. But so far, he's been a little bit quiet. Team comparison-wise right now, we are a little bit better than them in field goal percentage. We are 51, they are 49. 3-point percentage, we are better as well. 40%, they're 31%. So definitely doing better 3-point-wise this game than last game. We've already made more shots on that. Free throw percentage, we're 88%. They are 75%. They've had 4 more free throws still than us in this game. So pretty even game, of course. But obviously, it's still a lot to go. Let's see if we could find a way to hold on to this lead in the second half and make it at least somewhere where we could actually breathe. Because a 2-point game can literally just go back and forth for a lot of it. So let's see what happens. Third quarter underway. And they end up getting the lead with a good start to this third quarter, which is not good as we barely get any points on the board to start off with. But it's still a very close game as you'd expect at this point. If we could find a way just to edge out this game, that would be huge for maybe our confidence. But looks like they're going on a little bit of a run here, which is not great. But we are still keeping this game at least within striking distance. But now it looks like they're all of a sudden picking up a lot more points, and that's not ideal whatsoever. As going into the fourth, we are going to be down 86-74, so it's a 12-point lead for them all of a sudden. They outscored us 35-21 in that third, so I kind of felt like they were going to eventually take that lead, but not by that much. Based on the first half, I thought it was going to be still close at this point, but we need to get a lot of stoppages in this fourth quarter if we want to find a way to get this game back to even or take that lead. Carroll right now at 16. We have Westbrook on 14. Jennings is on 13. He's still looking really good in this game. Bishop on 11 and 7. Semenko's got 8. Wright's got 5. Evans only has 4. Yeah, Evans and Semenko probably need to step it up a bit. Same with Wright a little bit, but these other guys like Reese and Lloyd, I'm not really expecting them to do much. Same with Wennington, for instance, but we're definitely not playing as good as we were in the first round for sure. But yeah, our field goal percentage dropped to 44%. Theirs is now over 50%. We are still better than them 3-point percentage-wise, but obviously there is only one quarter to go, so we got to be careful. And then free throw wise, we're actually still better than them in that percentage, but they've also had 6 more trips to the line. So it's basically the field goal percentage right now that's losing us this game. So we got to find a way to be better on that. And we also got to be finding ways to be maybe a bit more disciplined because we've had 7 more fouls than them at this point in time. All right, well, this fourth quarter, like I said, it needs to be a good one. We need to go on a little bit of a run. We need to be scoring like 8 points in a row without giving them a single point, maybe, and then we could still win this one. But there's a chance we might be down 3-0 in the series, which is not ideal. But like I said, it would be nice if we could at least win one game in this round. But if we don't win any, I'm really hoping that we at least in the offseason we get a lot of growth, and then we could find a way to maybe beat them if we play them again next year in the playoffs. So anyways, let's see what happens. Fourth quarter. Can we have a good fourth quarter to get this game closer again? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Off to a not a great start as they're getting points already on the board. Like I said, we need some stoppages, which we haven't gotten. Yeah, we're not getting those stoppages that we need. We're going to probably end up losing this game as well unless we go on a run very late. But they're still up by over 10 points at this point in time. Now we're starting to make it a little bit closer. All right, all of a sudden it's an 8-point game with 3 minutes left. It's still doable. Or that's not an 8-point game. That's a 6-point game, my bad. It's doable. There's time to still tie this game up. Can we find a way? It's a 6-point game with 2:40. Can we get points? It's a 7-point game. Oh, yeah, we're not going to get it now. It's too late at this point now. At least I think. Oh, it's a 3-point game of 42 seconds. You know what? Since this is a pretty damn close game now all of a sudden because we had a great fourth quarter, we're going to jump in and watch this because I just like jumping in and watching these games. So yeah, let's jump on in and see if we could get something going. Obviously, we don't need to foul really at this point. So I'm hoping that our team doesn't foul and then finds a way to get a 3-pointer. We have been good from 3-point range. This might be kind of stupid to jump in and watch because it might jinx us, but I still want to jump in and see it anyways. So they have an inbound in the offensive zone, so we need to stop. And then hopefully we can find a way to tie this game up late here. We need to get the stoppage. Oh, nice takeaway by Bishop. Huge steal. He finds Semenko. Semenko will throw it into Jennings. You don't need to shoot that yet, man. Think about it. Westbrook will shoot for 3, and he doesn't hit, but Bishop gets a big rebound, and then he'll put the rebound in. It's a 1-point game. And there's probably 2 possessions left of the game. We might have to foul them. But if we don't foul them, there will be like 1.7 seconds left to take a timeout and get a shot off in the offensive zone, which is doable. But obviously, this is a closer game at the end of it than I was anticipating with how it looked at one point in time. All right, so that's a big rebound from Bishop. Great shift from him. So now we need to find a way to get possession of that ball. I don't know if our team's going to just go into fouling them right away or not. But I kind of hope they don't, but maybe they will. Oh, no, they will intentionally foul. So they are going to get some like free throw shots, but if they miss these free throw chances, it could help us out a lot. So Ja Morant's a good free throw shooter though, so probably not a great player to get free throws, but let's see if he misses any of these, and then we'll get possession back of the ball with 24.6 if that happens. So he hits the first one, of course. Probably going to hit the second as well. Too bad we didn't foul somebody that doesn't know how to shoot. So we're down by 3 again, but there is time to get a shot off to tie this game up. Hopefully we can make the shot here. Wright has it. Looks like we got the pick. Wright will throw it back. Westbrook will shoot for 3. Oh, he misses. They get the rebound. That's probably it. Because now Ja Morant's got more free throw shots. I think Westbrook could have probably taken a bit more time to shoot that off, but he was kind of a little bit open. But yeah, it looks like we're going to find ourselves probably in a 3-0 series hole here, which is kind of disappointing. But like I said, if we could find a way to at least win one game in the series, I'll be happy with it. But this game was definitely closer than the other two. But yeah, that's probably going to put the dagger in because now they're up by 2 possessions, basically. Like, it is still possible to come back in a game like this, but you basically need to get a 3-pointer off as fast as possible, and then you need to foul them to miss it and all that. Like, there's a shot from Jennings, and he'll miss it, and that's the game. Yep, that's the game. So the Sacramento Kings are going to take a 3-0 series lead on us. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that we'd maybe see a late game comeback, but it is what it is. Let's get to that next game. After we take a look at the box score. So Carroll dropped 23 points in that one. He was actually really good. We had Westbrook on 20 and 12. Bishop had 18. Then you had Semenko and Jennings on the 15. Wright and Evans kind of were disappointing, especially Evans, I should say, with only the 6 points. And he was 1 for 7 from field goal range, apparently. And then our other bench guys didn't do much at all either. Who led the way for them? Booth this time, 23 points. Şengün only had 13, so we did a better job containing Şengün in this, but Booth, Mitchell, and Morant were really good. Same with Barney Wall. So that's tough. But like I said, if we can find a way at least win the next game, I think I'll take a win like that, even if we end up losing the series. But we're now down 3-0, so it's going to take a lot of work to come back for our team. I don't really know if there's much I could do in terms of adjusting the rotation, so let's go simulate a simcast, and we'll go always simulate on those AI games. Let me go back. San Antonio's now up 3-0, Philadelphia's up 3-0, and Washington's up 2-1. So looks like potentially Dallas is going to get upset in the conference finals as well, which is kind of surprising. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if we would have been able to beat Sacramento, if we would have been able to beat somebody like Wemby in San Antonio, but I don't think so if they're going to knock out a top-seeded team. So, is there anything that we want to adjust before this game? I don't feel like there is, but yeah, I think it's fine the way it is. Like I said, this is just a learning experience for these guys. We can't really blame them too much. We could always throw Wright into lineup instead of Evans, but Evans was the starter last game and he just didn't do well. I almost feel like putting Jennings in as a starter over Evans. As weird as that sounds. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do is the adjustment. We're still going to give Evans like 26 minutes, but Jennings is going to go in as a starter because he's actually been pretty good and effective in the series so far. Evans is going to go down to 6-man. Wright's going to go down to 7th man. And we're going to run something like that. Might as well give Jennings an opportunity. Like I said, this guy was a 2nd-round pick, but I feel like so far in the playoffs, he's been really good. So I kind of like his play a lot. So we might as well give him a starting game in this last one, just because we probably might get swept here at this point in time. So anyways, let's get to game 4. We're still on home court. Like I said, it would be nice for us to win at least one home game. So let's hope that we could actually win one here. And if not, it isn't the end of the world, but at least we knocked out a good team like Minnesota. But let's see if we can get off to a good start. Hopefully we can find a way to have that lead at halftime again like we did last game. Let's see what happens. First quarter underway. Let's see if Jennings could put off like a career game for us. We're off to a really good start. We're up 7-1, but now they're starting to claw back into it because they're on a run of their own. Of course, we scored a lot early, and then all of a sudden it's a close game again now. Oh, now we're on a good run again. Okay, this is definitely our best start to this round yet. Best start yet. Don't count us out yet. Maybe we could reverse sweep these Kings, but we are off to a really good start here in this last game, potentially of the series, which might not be the case with the way we're playing right now. As at the end of the first quarter, we're going to be up 32-18, which is really, really good. Had a couple of big runs there, and that's what you want to see from this team down 3-1 or 3-0. Carroll already dropped 7 points. We already have Semenko on Evans and Wright on 6 points. So Wright and Evans have arrived. Jennings, now being a starter, has 5 points. Westbrook only had 2 points in that first quarter, which is kind of surprising, but definitely a lot of game for him to get going. Lloyd and Bishop had no points. Bishop only played 1 minute. That makes me worried he could have got injured, but maybe he just didn't play a lot. Wennington had no points. Reese had no points either. All right. Kind of surprised that some of our big guns didn't do anything, but some of the guys that have been like struggling were actually really good. Actually, I'm going to see the team comparison too. We're shooting 50% right now from field goal range. We're 0 for 4 from 3-point range though, which is kind of surprising. Or from 3-point range. Did I say 4-point range? I don't even know what I said. Free throws, we are 91%. So right now our free throws and our field goal percentage is the difference. Right now, the fact that we have not hit a three-pointer is kind of surprising with this lead that we have intact. So anyways, let's see what happens in the second quarter. Let's make sure that we hold on to this lead and not blow it. Let's see what happens. Second quarter underway. But looks like we're still off to a good start in this quarter too. I feel like this definitely could be one of those games that we end up winning or somehow we end up blowing completely. Because right now we're up by 20 points on them. So definitely a lot better than the first 3 games of the series. Like, something has definitely changed in the lineup. I guess maybe putting Jennings in might be the thing that's worked. I'm not too sure. But that was just like an experimental thing to do. And at halftime, we are going to be up 68-46. So we're up by 22 points. So it looks like we are on pace to potentially win our first game of this round, as long as we keep our foot on the gas. Let's take a look at some stats here. Evans already has 18 points. So Evans is coming alive. He knows how quiet he was before. We have Carroll on 14 points. Semenko and Ryder on 8. Westbrook's only on 7 still, but he's been good. Jennings only on 5, so that's kind of surprising. Lloyd on 4. Bishop's only on 2. And then we have Wennington on 2. Reese has nothing. So it's mainly because of Evans and Carroll we're winning this game, I think, at the moment. The fact that Evans has arrived is great. Obviously, he's been a little bit inconsistent in this playoffs, but he is a young kid, and who knows how good he'll be next year. Next year, he could be absolutely fantastic. And then in terms of team comparison so far, we're shooting 57%. They're only shooting 33%. For 3-point percentage-wise, they are still better than us, so we're not hitting a lot of our 3-point shots, which is kind of surprising. And we've had the same amount of free throws in this game, but we are 92%. They're only 69%, so a couple of things have definitely made a difference, especially that field goal percentage, I would say. All right, well, we're up by a lot, but there's still a lot of time left to go. Let's see what happens in this third quarter, see if we can keep this lead intact going into the fourth. So far, it looks like our offense is off to a good start again in this third too, so I do fully expect our team to find a way to win this game at this point. If they lose it, that'll be absolutely a huge collapse, but we got to start winning one game at a time. We can't be thinking about winning that next game. We got to think about winning this game, and then we'll take it from there, basically. So maybe this team can start to claw back into the series. We are Tigers after all, so we do have some pretty sharp claws. And let's see what the score is going to be at the end of the third. It's 106-78, so we're literally almost up by 30 points. Definitely a crazy good showing so far from this team, as Evans is over 20 points. He's got 25 points, which might be a career high for him in the playoffs. We have Carroll and Semenko on 20-plus points as well. Westbrook's dropped 19 now, right on 8. Jennings still only on 5. Lloyd Bishop still only has 2 points. It's kind of surprising, but he's only shot 1 shot. Never attempted a 3-throw or 3-point shot, so looks like he's not really doing much offensively, but he's doing what he can with the rebounds. Wennington actually has a couple points off the bench as well. Okay. Well, it's definitely Evans, Carroll, and Semenko and Westbrook that have made a big difference in this game. Because when those guys are on, we are winning games. When they're not on their game is when we're losing. Actually, team comparison-wise right now, 59-38, 30-23. So they're still outplaying us in 3-point percentage. They've shot up a lot more 3-pointers than us as well. Trying to get back into this game, I'm guessing. And then we are also shooting better than them at free throws. So maybe this team can come back in the series, or maybe we're just going to find a way to win this one only. But it's good that we're at least going to give our fans one game in the second round. So let's see what happens fourth quarter, see if we can lock this game down, or are they going to somehow come back and beat us? Which right now they're off to a little bit of a good start, but looks like now we're finding our offense again, so we don't need to worry. I was a little bit worried that maybe they'd start to claw back into this game against us, but at least we have such a huge lead. That would take an absolute miracle for them to win. But it looks like we're potentially going to win all 4 quarters, basically. This fourth quarter is definitely closer than the other quarters have been up to this point in time. And that is definitely going to be a win there for the Ice Tigers as we outscore them in all 4 quarters and win 138-106 in a lopsided victory. Very, very nice. So the fans get a win on home court. Hopefully we can maybe find a way to win the next one in Sacramento because, like I said, maybe we could start to win some games against them. Evans dropped 35 points. And that's the potential of Evans. He's going to be a really good player one day if he keeps up like this. Like I said, last game he was pretty disappointing, but now that he's dropped 35 points, that's a very nice thing to see from him. Considering in the playoffs he's only averaging 15 points a game, that's a huge game for him. Semenko, 31 points, almost a triple-double for Semenko, so Semenko was really good too. Westbrook on 23 points and 12 rebounds. Carroll had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Then it drops off considerably, but Jennings still had a solid game, almost a double-double. He had Wright on 8 points, Lloyd on 4. Bishop still only on the 2. He only literally took 1 shot that game. And then Wennington had 2. Reese had nothing. That's pretty solid. In a team comparison, we shot 57 to their 40. We shot 32 to their 30, so our three-point percentage improved a little bit. It looks like in that last quarter. Free throws, we were 88 to their 83. All right, that's good to see. That is a great game for this team. And who knows, maybe a lot of series left to go for this series against them. Or maybe we're going to get eliminated next game. But are going to definitely keep the rotation like the way it was based on how it played. All right, well, let's go to Simcast with next game again and the AI games. How did they go? Dallas is now down 3-1, so Dallas trying to come back against San Antonio. Philadelphia has swept Atlanta, so they'll move on to the conference finals. And then Washington and Detroit are tied at 2, so that's the only tied series at this point. All right, well, can we extend this series again? Can we find a way to win this game and maybe put some pressure on them? If we win this game, we could find a way to maybe tie the series up on home court. But obviously, we got to find a way to win on the road here. So this is going to be a lot tougher than winning in front of your own fans. But can we get back into the series again? And can we get off to a good start? Last game was a really good showing. If we could do anything close to last game, we might have a chance. So let's see what happens here. First quarter, game number 5. Can this team start to get back into the series? So far, we're off to a bit of a decent start again, but it is definitely closer than it was last game in the first quarter, because in the first quarter last game, we scored 7-0 to start, I'm pretty sure. As they have actually the lead now, but it is still pretty close. They're trying to run away with it, but we're still hanging around with them. And I meant to stop it a little bit earlier, because apparently the second quarter already started. So you know what, let's just keep it going for the time being, and we'll look at halftime instead of after every single quarter. But this is a really back and forth game, which we haven't had in a while. Oh, I have it on fast sim speed. That's why I was going so quick. God damn, I didn't want it on fast. So at halftime, we're actually going to be leading the game. We were up 65-56, and now we're up 68-56. But at halftime, basically, leading away, Carroll and Semenko on 11 points apiece. We're still getting really good depth scoring now in this game. Wennington had 7 points in 10 minutes. That's exactly what you want to see from a bench option. Jennings on 6, Westbrook had 5. Like, Westbrook got outscored by Wennington is kind of insane. But when randomly a bench guy can put up points like that, it definitely goes a long way. Reese on 5, Lloyd on 4, Rex right on 3 only. All right, looks like we're off to a pretty solid start. Was there anybody injured that I didn't realize? No, I don't think so. Oh, that's where Bishop was. Okay. I was like, where the heck was he? And then, yeah, so far, both teams are shooting over 60% from field goal range. So this is a high-scoring game pretty much right now. We've been better in three-point percentage than they have as well. And free throws, they've been a little bit better. But definitely a crazy game when both teams are over 50% from three-point range. So this still could go down to the wire completely, even though we are up by 12. Anyways, let's see what happens as we go through this third quarter. Didn't mean to go through this game as fast as last game, or faster than last game, but it is what it is. At least maybe that will give us a chance to claw back into the series, because right now we're still up by a good amount, but it is still a very close game. And we got to be careful that they don't go on a run all of a sudden like they are right now. Oh boy, that's not good. It's a very close game all of a sudden. Come on, guys, answer back, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I need those points as much as possible. because they could all of a sudden get a bunch of three-pointers. We know they're a good shooting team. And at the end of the third, they get a couple points late. It's a 4-point game going into the fourth. Well, we know that this fourth quarter could be the last quarter of our season potentially, but it is definitely an airtight game. Right now, leading away is Carroll, Bishop, and Semenko, all with 13 points. Lucky number 13. And we have a couple guys on 11 and stuff like that, but oh my goodness, this is nerve-wracking. This is nerve-wracking. I need guys like Jennings to hopefully have a good fourth quarter, but we're only up by 4. Team comparison-wise, we're actually still shooting better than they are in every single area except for free throws. They've actually had 15 more free throws than us again. So I feel like it's the free throws that are always making the difference in them coming back. So we got to be very, very careful about taking fouls. Like we probably have taken, we've taken 7 more fouls than they have. So we got to be more disciplined before they end up coming back because of our undisciplinedness. So let's see what happens in the fourth quarter and see if we could hold on to this lead or not. Because right now I'm a little bit worried that they might come back still, but there's potentially a lot of time left. Can I go slower than normal? Yeah, I can. Well, maybe we'll leave that for like the last few minutes of the game or something, but let's see if we could get off to a good start in this fourth, because obviously if they start scoring early, that's going to be problematic, so we need to go on a good run, if possible. Fourth quarter underway, come on. Okay, that's a good start in terms of getting some points here early in the fourth. Definitely still an airtight game, though, so we got to be very, very mindful of that. Okay, now we're starting to go on a little bit of a run, but we still haven't had much more than a 6-point lead since the early going. There's 5 minutes left. We're only up by 6. Oh my goodness, this is tight. This is tight. Okay, now we're up by 12. Okay, at this point, I feel like a little bit more safe that our team's going to be able to hold on to this one. It is still close, though, so we got to be careful about that. Couple three-pointers could easily put them back into this game as they're going on a little bit of a run here late, but we are still up by 9 points with 1:24. I think we got this one in the bag. I think we're going to win a game in Sacramento, which means we have a chance to tie the series up back on home court potentially too, so that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Yep, we are going to end up winning in Sacramento, 124-111. An absolutely huge game for this team. And who knows, it's a brand new series. If we find a way to win the next game, we might be one of those teams that could come back from 3-0, which would be absolutely crazy. Especially considering this is our first ever playoff run. But Semenko leads the way with 26 points and 13 rebounds. Apparently that's a career high for him. Also, Rex Wright drops 20 points. That's huge from Rex Wright, as he's had some bad games. Carroll had 17. We had Bishop on 13. Jennings on 12. Westbrook only had 11, so a bit of a lackluster game for him there. But he was still okay at times, I guess. Evans on 9 points. So yeah, Evans still is a little bit inconsistent, going from 35 to 9, but maybe he'll be better next game again. Wennington on 7. Reese on 5. Lloyd on 4, and that's it. When you think about it on paper, technically the 7 points from a guy like Wennington and the 5 points from Reese is pretty much the difference in the game. So it's very nice when you get points like that from guys that don't play a lot of minutes. And then team comparison-wise, we shot 52%. We all threw up 92 shots in that game. God damn, we shot a lot. That was 20 more shots than they had, but we shot better than they did percentage-wise. In terms of 3 points as well, we shot not more than they have. We shot a rate around the same, but we were 47 to their 35. Free throw percentage, they were better. Even though they technically had, they had a lot more free throws than us at the line. 22 more free throws. So it seems like there's a lot of these type of games where we just take too many fouls. And I'm not too sure if that's a negative of basically running this perimeter-centric rule, but kind of a crazy game there. Glad to see our team was able to find a way to win another one. And now we're back in the series. If this team literally comes back in reverse sweep Sacramento, we should be a team that could easily beat anybody, I guess, at that point. But there's some really good teams still out there, of course. So maybe not. Anyways, let's go to next game already. And let's see who ends up winning. San Antonio has eliminated Dallas. So the first seed in the West has been eliminated, which means Wemby is on to the conference finals in the Western Conference. Washington has taken that 3-2 series lead on Detroit, so might be Philadelphia, Washington in the East, and whoever still wins this series between us and Sacramento. All right, well, I was not expecting Dallas to get eliminated that early on, but I guess Wemby kind of carried them probably in that one. Let me see this for a second. I didn't want to take a look at Dallas's roster. Actually, let me briefly take a look at Dallas's roster. They don't actually look as scary as I thought they would. We won't play them in not for a while, but 96 Cooper Flag's obviously scary, but they don't really have any super high other overall players, really. Huh. Yeah, they do have good depth, it looks like, though. Maybe that's why they've won so many games during the season, but that's a team that we could have maybe faced in the conference finals if we somehow find a way to beat Sacramento, but we got to still win 2 games, so let's see if this team can win 3 in a row and somehow force a Game 7, even though it looked like we were going to be swept, because at this point, I was not really expecting us to win 2 in a row, but our team is starting to claw back, so let's see what we could do here. We're back on home court again as well. Last time we were on home court, we had a fantastic game, so let's give our fans something to cheer about in this one. If we get off to a good start again in this one, maybe there's a chance that this team could find a way to tie the series up, so let's see what happens. First quarter underway. And let's go slower sim speed before I end up forgetting. And we're not off to the best of starts defensively, which definitely is different in other games, but we are still hanging around offensively, which is good to see. Because if we could hang around by like 2 to 3 points, we could still be in striking distance to at least get that lead back. But we just don't want them to go on any crazy runs or else that's going to hurt us a bit like they are now. Now they're up by over 10 points. Well, that's definitely a bad way to end that first quarter. We outscored 39-25. And it was close for a bit, but now we're down by 14 points already. And being in a hole like this reminds me of those early games that we lost. So we are definitely could still win this, but we need to start clawing back in the second, the third, the fourth, just kind of chipping away at that lead that they have right now. Currently, in terms of our player stats, though, Semenko's leading with 5 points. Everybody else is 4 and below. Carroll only has 2 points, same with Westbrook, so those guys need to be much better, hopefully. But almost everybody on our team at least has a bucket. But I want our big guys to step up, of course. And then in terms of percentages and stuff like that, we're only shooting 50% right now. They're shooting 83%. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. And we're only 1 for 3 from three-point range. So, yeah, definitely a tough first quarter offensively. Like I said, we could definitely still get back into this game, but we need to literally have a quarter where we basically make the lead less for them. And then same with the third, same with the fourth, whatever it might be. But we cannot let them keep on adding to this lead that they currently have. So, second quarter underway. Let's see if we can maybe get back into this one. Let's see if we can. And right now they're getting some offense going, it looks like, but our team isn't. Yeah, I don't feel good about this game based on the way we're starting this one off. Yeah, we're almost down by 30 plus points. So we are probably not going to end up coming back from 3-0. But I think this team still had a great run this playoffs. It is still doable to win this game, but obviously it's unlikely. But hey, maybe not anymore. It's actually, wait a second. It's 57-71. I can't do the math in my head. I think that's like a 14-point lead. Maybe we made some right of ground because that second quarter, actually maybe not, I guess. It's probably the same as it was in the first because it was an even second quarter, 30-30. But still time for us to come back in this one, but I just don't feel like it's going to happen. Evans is leading away again, so at least he's having another good game. Semenko on 9 points. He has no rebounds so far, which is surprising since he had 13 less game. But our big guys aren't really doing a lot here. Like Bishop only on the 6 points. Carroll only on the 6 points. And then Westbrook literally only has 2 points so far. So he's been kind of struggling a bit, which definitely hurts us a bit when he's not playing his best. But it is what it is. Actually, the team comparison, let me take a look at this again. Yeah, we're only shooting 47%. They're shooting 74%. God damn. Yeah, that's rough. And they've hit every single free throw so far. Well, I don't know if we're going to win this one, but if we do, it might be a crazy comeback. So let's get that started in the third and see if we can make sure that they don't get any offense going early on here, because maybe that could help us get back into this game. Let's just like go on a 12-0 run or something, which is not looking like it's going to happen. They're up by over 20 points. Or not over 20 points. Now they're over 20 points. Yeah, we're definitely losing this game. They're over 30-point lead now. We're just falling apart here. Well, that kind of sucks. Based on those last 2 games, I thought our team would have maybe put in a better effort this game. But like I said, I'm glad that we were able to at least win a couple games in this round, because early on it looked like we were going to get swept. So there's definitely positives to take away from this run. I'm thinking that this offseason is going to be really good for growth, and that should help us down the road. But Evans is leading away with 13 points. You have Bishop and Wright on 12. Carroll's only on 10 still, though. And then, like I said, Westbrook's really struggled here. 2 points in 20 minutes, which is unfortunate. And that's probably like a difference in this game for sure. They're shooting 20% better than us. Our 3-point percentage is atrocious again in this game. So we need to continue adding good shooters to this team because right now, I think that's definitely why we're not winning this game. So, anyways, let's see what happens in this fourth quarter. We're down by a lot. We're not going to win this game, but let's at least show our fans that we still care about this game, even if we're down by like 20 plus points. We are on a little bit of a run, but they are still up by way too much at this point in the game. And now they're starting to pick up their offense again. Well, this is a tough loss, like I said, but I am glad that we won 2 games. I didn't think we were going to win 2. I thought we were going to only win the one on home court. But, yeah, good to see that we managed to take a road game as well. As unfortunately, in this game, we're going to end up losing by the final score of 129 to 101 as we have been eliminated from playoff action. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Actually, 129-104 because it didn't show the points total, but there you go. That's tough. That's tough. At least the second and fourth quarter were even, but the first quarter and third quarter is definitely where we didn't do well for us. So, kind of sucks on that. Evans dropped 23 points, so he's had some, like I said, really good games, also some bad games, but I'm excited to see how much growth he gets this offseason. Then we had Carroll on 17, Semenko on 15, Wright on 14, Bishop on 12, and that's basically it. Everybody else had some points. But like I said, definitely the most disappointing player on that game maybe was Westbrook, but looks like he had maybe a good fourth quarter. He had a nice 9 rebounds to lead the team. And in team comparison, we shot 47%. They shot 59% in both field goal and three-pointers. We only shot 23% from three-point range. So yeah, that's definitely, like I said, an area to address. Like as a perimeter-centric team, you want guys maybe with some good three-point shooting as well. At least our free throws were good, but we didn't have enough free throws. Like, definitely, it seems like the games that we lost is when they were at the line a lot more than us. Like, they had technically, I guess, by some math, they were like 22? Yeah, I think they had 22 more free throws than us that game, which is outrageous. I'm not sure if they're just a disciplined team or not, like I said, but yeah, that's actually insane. Team fouls, we didn't have that much more than they did. But yeah, they were just at the free throw line a lot more often than we were. I'm not too sure why. So, tough series for us against Sacramento, but like I said, we won 2 games. We could definitely say that was a good little run for our team. Okay, let's take a look at our final stats from playoff run, and then we'll see who ends up winning. I don't know if I should go through the offseason parts up to the draft yet. I feel like I should, but at the same time, this episode's already running late. So probably not, but maybe I'll add a little bit of stuff to this episode just because we need to make sure that the offseason's primed up for next episode. So anyways, in terms of player stats from this playoff run, was this from this playoff run? Yeah, this is from the playoff run. Okay, I just had to make sure on that. So Carroll dropped 19.2 points per game to lead the team. We had Semenko on 18.6, Westbrook on 16.9. Obviously, that dropped off a little bit over those last 6 games. Evans on 15.5. We had Wex right on 12.7. Jennings on 11.5. Bishop on 10.2. Wennington on 5.3 is not bad, I guess, considering his minutes. Goodwin, Lloyd, Reese. Yeah, not a lot of points from those bench options, but at least guys like Carroll, Semenko, and like a lot of the main core seems to be playing pretty good. So there's their stats. I'll also scroll over here just so you guys can see like their field goal percentages, 3-point percentages too, and their free throws, so you can see if any of them are struggling in certain areas. But I think some guys definitely were really good. Other guys definitely were a bit more disappointing. But I think this team is going to be very promising for the near future. Like, I think if a lot of these guys get growth like Evans in the offseason, I think we're going to be a crazy good team next year. So, anyways, let's find out who ends up winning the NBA championship this year, since we end up losing in that second round. The answer will be the Sacramento Kings end up going to the finals, so we lost to the best team in the West. At least that's good. And they will be taking on the Washington Wizards, which means Bernard Russell has gotten to a finals again. I think he got to a finals before. But it will be the Kings and Wizards for the finals, as the Kings did take out San Antonio in 5 games. So we technically gave the Kings the best run for their money up to this point. I think that's pretty promising. Pretty promising. Anyways, who's going to win the NBA title this year? Is it the Wizards or is it the Kings? Let's find on out. The answer is the Wizards. So Bernard Russell gets his team all the way to the finals, and I think that might be his first championship. But the Wizards have won, and Bernard Russell was the finals MVP, not a surprise. This guy's an absolute machine. So shout out to the Wizards on securing the bag. So yeah, we are definitely the best team, technically, other than the Wizards, against the Kings. So we got to hold our head high about that for sure. Got to for sure. Okay, well, anyways, there's that. Let's see. Let's see. What was I going to do here? I kind of feel like we should do some of the off-season stuff, so let's try and get through some of it, just because I kind of want to know. I don't want to know what the draft lottery is, though, because we aren't even in the draft lottery, so maybe I will keep this stuff for next episode, actually, I guess. But I do want to take a look at this year's draft class a little bit more in depth here briefly, just so you guys can kind of give me ideas on who you think we should maybe look at in terms of this draft class, because I do think we need more good shooters, which means I think a point guard would be a good option for our team. So if we're looking at a point guard in the later first round, we might have to get one of these guys. They don't really look the best, so maybe we'd go for a shooting guard and move him to point guard, but I think we need some good offensive players. But I'm really not too sure on what we want to draft, but I'm just going to skim through this so you guys can kind of see that. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get this guy that's going first overall, but that's okay. Damn, it looks like he has 10 badges. That's insane. So yeah, I don't really know exactly who we're going to draft with our selection or what we should look into. But if you guys have any opinions on that, please let me know. Obviously, we're going to be drafting quite late this year, and we don't actually have a lottery pick, which is also the first time that's been like that in franchise history. So we're going to go through this all in next episode, including the draft. So we'll get through the entire offseason probably in the next episode, rather than just kind of simulating it in 2 parts, just because we actually made the playoffs this year. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory MyNBA. So in next episode, we'll have the offseason. We'll see how good this team grows. We'll have the draft and hopefully get some more good players in. But this team is going to be probably really good next season. I could definitely see growth from Evans a lot, where he's up to like maybe an 85. I don't know about the other guys, but I'm hoping they're still really good overalls. And I think we're literally going to have probably a good chance to maybe go far next year in the playoffs, depending on who we run into. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.